Hello, hello. Welcome in. Always the delay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, there I am. Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Piano Julia here. Trying to keep the streak alive. It's our bed for my live today, which is a lot for me. So, and today, I think I needed a little vocal rest from singing. Probably talking. One of my favorite books. Spirit into Sound. The Magic of Music. This was a gift to me from my brother-in-law a long time ago. You can see it's a little worn. And written and compiled by Mickey Hart, is a drummer for the Grateful Dead. And it's mostly quotes. Now, he has some intro and some other things in it, but it's mostly quotes from famous musicians and other famous music lovers. And I just really enjoy it. Really, we all say some of these things in various ways in the streams and the people that I've met. So I always like this. When I used to have piano recitals for my kids or my students, I would include some of these quotes in the programs. So I'm going to read it randomly. Although it is divided into 3 sections. It's actually 4 sections. The first section is music and musicians, movers and shakers. The second part is music and society. The third, the global tuning fork. The third part is music and spirit, secret places of the soul. And the last part is music and the cosmos, the sound of God. So this is just a nice book to have around. It's a nice gift. And that's the thing with everything digital. You can't hand a gift the way you used to. You can. I think you should. Because there's something about holding something that was given to you or holding something that you like. Some people are really into the smell of books, the feel of books, all of that. So and they are quotes. I might sanitize them a bit because I don't know who's listening. Or maybe not. So this first one does have the F-bomb in it. This is a quote from Neil Young. Rock and roll is like a drug. I don't take it very much, rock and roll, but when I do rock and roll, I fucking do it. But I don't want to do it all the time because it'll kill me. When you're singing and playing rock and roll, you're on the leading edge of yourself. You're trying to vibrate, trying to make something happen. It's like there's something alive and exposed. That's Neil Young. I like this one. It's one word. Assassins. That was by Arturo Toscanini. Assassins. That's all he said. That's all the quote is. And it's something he said to his orchestra after an unsatisfactory performance. Bette Midler. I have to create. I have to dig in the earth. I have to make something grow. I have to bake something. I have to write something. I have to sing something. I have to put something out. It's not a need to prove anything. It's just my way of life. Bette Midler. I don't choose what I compose. It chooses me. Gustav Mahler. So we're in the That first section, music and musicians, movers and shakers. Let's see. This is an interesting one. The best way to kill your music is to sit down every day and work at it. You got to sneak up on it and catch it when it's not looking. I don't know. I think it's good to work on it every day. I think it might not be good to work on writing music every day if you're not feeling it. So that part might kill it if you're forcing it. Although some people do that as an exercise to get their writing chops. But I tell my students to touch their instrument every day. And I try to do that as well. A wise friend of my father's had said to me, "You should not go into music unless it is a compulsion. In the end, all you really have as a center is the music itself. Make sure that you have to be with it every day. If that's true, then you should become a musician." You have to be with it every day. But Iggy Pop says you should not work at it every day. I think they're both true in a way. Haydn says, "Musical ideas pursue me to the point of torture. I cannot get rid of them. They stand before me like a wall. If it is an allegro that pursues me, my pulse beats faster. I cannot sleep. If an adagio, I find my pulse beating slowly. My imagination plays upon me as if I were a keyboard." It's Haydn. I like this one. I don't know if I should. I don't know, that might get on my nerves. I'll put this on for a little bit. That might bother me. Hey, Algaray, good to see you. Yeah, something a little different tonight for a little bit. I won't be on that long, but I just wanted to share this. I wanted to go live, but wasn't really up to singing, but I wanted to share this because this is one of my favorite things, this book. And I have a couple others. But this is full of quotes, which is cool. There's only two ways to sum up music. Either it's good or it's bad. If it's good, you don't mess about it. You just enjoy it. Louis Armstrong. Miles Davis, who we know was a character. Well, genius. Sometimes they are characters by definition. What's swinging in words? If a guy makes you tap your foot and if you feel it down your back, you don't have to ask anybody if that's good music or not. You can always feel it. There's something to be said for that too. I also sometimes have told my students over the years that, when we're working on or thinking about rhythm, that if they're ever around a baby, if you're playing and then the baby or toddler starts to dance around, you're doing pretty well. Because they tend to pick it up. They pick up on rhythm right away. This is one of the editions. Well, he did a prologue or introduction, and then he adds some other things. So this is Mickey Hart. Many have described the essence of music as representing internal emotional states that cannot be put into words. Every musician knows this. The big question, the big mystery, is how to achieve this transfer of energy, how to translate your feelings into sounding movements and actions, and how these forms communicate so powerfully and precisely the original feelings. This process is, at least in part, what we mean by the spirit into sound. Little Richard said, I believe my music is the healing music. Well, I'm sorry, heal-in. I believe my music is the heal-in music. I believe my music can make the blind see, the lame walk, the deaf and dumb hear and talk, because it inspires and uplifts people. It regenerates the ears, makes the liver quiver, the bladder splatter, and the knees freeze. I'm not conceited either. All right, little Richard. Marian McPartlin, the jazz player, pianist. Music is more than a combination of sounds. It is colors, too. I see the different keys like a rainbow. The key of D is daffodil yellow. B major is maroon. And B flat is blue. Yeah, other people have said that the things are colors. It's not like healing to you. Hey, Jiggly Dad, good to see you. How are you doing? You in for my little reading for a few minutes before bed? Counts as a stream, but I always said I was going to do this sometimes anyway. I got close to being able to get to the grand piano today, but it didn't work out, so I'm a little frustrated with life. So I'm feeding my soul by reading this. Yeah. Now this is Mickey Hart again. Without a good listener, even the best performer is useless. And if a performer is not a good listener, the performance is useless. The performer must listen to the quiet voice beneath the surface to connect to the music. The performer must also listen to the hall, the audience, the instrument, and the other performers. That's interesting. When you're streaming, you can't hear the room. You can't hear the audience. But I still feel a connection. If my liver is quivering, I'm going to call a doctor, and not for good reasons. Oh, you had a root canal follow-up. Oh, gosh. You got back and... Oh, was it so good? Oh, I bet it was. Eclectic sneer. You about to get banned. That's great. Sneer. Catch an electric hammer, bro. Right. All my concerts had no sounds in them. They were completely silent. People had to make their own music in their minds. Yoko Ono. My own friends are those who give good performances. My enemies are those who in any way debase music. George Bernard Shaw, the author. Carlos Santana says, when you play from your heart, all of a sudden there's no gravity. You don't feel the weight of the world, of bills, of anything. That's why people love it. Your so-called insurmountable problems disappear, and instead of problems, you get possibilities. Oh, Yoko, yeah. Let that one go. I mean, the first part I find to be true. It can make you forget the problems. But Instead of problems, you get possibilities. I don't know. Instead of problems, you get music. You know. Jerry Garcia says, "Hey, Yuri." Could be. Yeah, you have to take some of this with a grain of salt because many musicians, many of these people had some enhancements. Oh, thanks for the hug. Jerry Garcia. We're working with dynamics now. We've spent 2 years with loud. We've spent 6 years with deafening. I think we're moving out of our loud stage. We've learned after these last 2 years that what's really important is that the music be groovy. And if it's groovy enough and it's well played enough, it doesn't have to be loud. Well, here's one, which there might have been some influence. When I'm singing, I'm inside of it. I feel when you're first in love, when you're first touching someone, chills, things slipping all over me. A lot of times when I get off, I want to make love. Janis Joplin. Here's a drug one. Pete Townsend. When I'm on stage, I feel this incredible, almost spiritual experience. Those great rock and roll experiences are getting harder and harder to come by because they have to transcend a lot of drug-induced stupor. But when they occur, they are sacred. Wait, they have to transcend a lot of drug-induced stupor. Well, then don't do the drugs. I mean, it's probably a simple way to avoid the drug-induced stupor is to not introduce the drugs to the system, but, seems obvious to me. But there's a messed up dude, yes. Another one by Mickey Hart. Musical instruments are alchemists' tools to change human energy from breath, from muscle, into sound. They are often the most elaborate and expensive tools found in many cultures. They are sculptures as well as voices. And playing a musical instrument is a physical as well as a mental activity. An instrument becomes an extension of the player's own body, and vibrating it is an intimate form of sensual play. The special power of a musical instrument comes from its construction. From the bodies of sacrificed animals or plants come drum membranes, gut strings, animal or human bone flutes, trumpets, slit drums, and wooden bodies of string instruments. Thus, these sacred instruments are magical tools and must be used with respect and awareness of their once living spirit. Okay. Miles Davis. It took me 20 years of study and practice to work up to what I wanted to play in this performance. How can she expect to listen 5 minutes and understand it? That's Miles Davis in response to when a lady in the audience complained that she didn't understand what Miles Davis was playing. Lady, you don't tell Miles Davis that you don't understand what Miles Davis is playing. Talk less. That was not necessary. Oh, I'm sorry, Harsher Buzz, but I'm just saying, you don't have to transcend something if it's not there. Or if you want it to be there, then roll with it, John Lennon. I'm not very good technically, but I can make it fucking howl and move. Alrighty. Igor Stravinsky. My music is best understood by children and animals. The thing is, children and animals don't have any money. So it's hard to maintain yourself with children and animals. But when children enjoy music, it means a lot. When animals enjoy music, I don't have either one of my dogs anymore, but especially the other one too. Whenever I sat down to play, she would just come running and lay down underneath the piano or right next to the piano. Sweetheart. She could tell. She could feel things. She also could feel things when I was, she would also do that when I was sick. Whenever I was sick, she would come and lay next to my bed if I was in bed. So, but she would come for the music. Wanda Landowska. I never practice. I always play. Oh, that's a boring one. Schumann says, play always as if a master were listening. Well, that goes without saying. Christopher Cross. I'm starting to feel pretty good. I know I've written some classic songs that someday are going to be elevator music, and that makes me feel pretty good. I like that. I mean, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. D1. Thank you so much for bringing your people here. I so appreciate you. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, Raiders. Hey, Rose wait, is that Solite or with a 5 Solite? Welcome in. Welcome, D1. Thank you for choosing us on our kind of different stream tonight. Oh, that is so nice. Yes, I did raise you, last week or something? Yeah. Yeah, meeting new people. That's what I wanted to do. So let me introduce myself to your people here. I am Piano Julia, and usually I sing at the piano, play the piano and sing. That's what I do most of the time. Every once in a while, I will practice bass on stream. I like to put song facts into chat. I sometimes just chat. And I am in the U.S. on the East Coast, Philadelphia area, so it's 2:39 here. Wow. And I am currently on a daily stream streak. So I'm on day 31, and that's kind of a big deal for me. I've been streaming for 3 years, but I have had big breaks. Not months at a time, but a month at a time, a month and a half at a time, and then or a week at a time, and I've never had a regular schedule. So so something compelled me to try to stream every day. Sometimes the streams are short, and I can't always vouch for the quality. But I've been having a good time doing it, and it also gives me a lot of opportunity to meet new people, because if you stream every day, you get to rate every day, and then more opportunities to be rated as well. So thank you for bringing your people here. Now, normally I'm not going to sing it all tonight or play it all tonight, so I invite you to come back on another stream. Anybody who kind of likes my vibe. Oh, wow. You've been streaming way back till then. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So when there are breaks for me, it feels like, it just doesn't feel like I've been streaming that long. It just doesn't. In my first few months of streaming, I was streaming from, everybody who knows me already knows this. The first few months, from July, I started in July until January or February. I didn't even have a computer to stream from. I had a dying computer and no money to buy one. And, so that was a situation. So instead of just waiting, I'd been on Twitch for a little while before that, but instead of waiting to get all the proper equipment, I thought, whatever, I'm just going to stream. and I streamed from the grand piano using only my phone and a mic for the singing attached to a speaker. It wasn't that bad for the sound. But I couldn't do most of the things that you can do, with on the platform. So that doesn't feel, And then I got like COVID and missed the whole month. And then I got equipment and then I had to redo everything. So it just feels like I didn't get into the flow of it until later. And then I got into the flow of it later, and then some real life stuff happened and I would have to take these breaks. So all that to say, 31 days, and I'm proud of myself. Oh, those struggles. Yeah, it's, I'm so glad I started though, because, I didn't know anything about Twitch, nothing. I'm not a gamer. I didn't know anything about it. I found out about it accidentally. I was streaming on Facebook a little bit. I do not like Facebook. But I was streaming on Facebook a little bit during the pandemic. And, thank you, Jiggly Dad. Thank you, D1. I'm proud of Julia too. And a streamer that I liked was streaming from both platforms. I was like, what is this Twitch? Because then he started to say that Facebook was glitching more than Twitch. And I didn't know what Twitch was. So then I went to Twitch. But then I read up and I did my little homework and read up on it. And everything said, you don't want to go on Twitch until you have all of your sound perfect. And you have to have this and you have to have that. And then I was a little intimidated. So I didn't do anything. But I also knew that I wanted to do it. But, my money was funny and I couldn't buy anything. So that was that whole story behind that. And then I just said, whatever, I'm tired of waiting. And it was pandemic and I couldn't do anything else. I mean, couldn't gig. And then the real life stuff. So do the things, not make excuses, even if you have plenty of them. Besides, honestly, almost everyone has a ton of excuses. Right. And so that's what I was, sometimes you can do too much research into things. Like, it's good to do some research, but you have to take what you read with a grain of salt. So it just slowed me up, but I just did it. If I had followed what they said, I wouldn't have streamed. It would have taken me another 6 months to a year to stream. And that wouldn't have been good. So I wish I'd started earlier. I mean, I think I found out about Twitch in like March and did my first stream in July. So it wasn't that much of a lag. I always think it's good too to watch some things before doing it too. So I got to, hang out on some streams and stuff. So, paralysis by analysis. I know it's a thing and you have to work against it, because you ever go to buy something and like on Amazon or something and you read the reviews and then you find out, then an hour goes by and you realize you're reading reviews of like trash bags. Like, was that necessary? So, but I did need some time to figure out what it was and how to do it, because it's quite different from Facebook, So, still learning. Then I got some equipment, and then what that happens then. And then it's all the technical difficulties. But I had some people come in and really help me with that. And so I love learning that stuff. Anyway, so that's me. So yeah, that's all that to say. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. I do wish I had discovered it earlier. I was really kind of disconnected because chosen social media, but I didn't. I loathe Facebook. So that's not to say that I wouldn't welcome people discovering me through there if people share my stuff or whatever. I just, it's not me. So I had an account, but I wasn't using it. And a musician friend of mine said, you should be streaming on, and this is during the pandemic, because none of us could go out. So he said, you should be streaming. And on Facebook, there were certain groups. And so I did that. But thing about Facebook, and I've said it many times before, is that Facebook connects you to people you already know, or you already have a connection to. And so I like the platforms where you can get connected to people that you don't already know and you're not going to run into, right? So like most of these people that I'm talking to here, I would never meet in real life. And that's not to say that we're so different. We have a lot of things in common, but they're on another side of the world. It just wouldn't, you know? So I like that. The people that I already know, pick up the phone, what a... D1, you're going to go to sleep. Okay, good night. Thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate you trusting to bring your people over here. I'm glad that I raided you. I'm glad I'm meeting people that way. So yeah, go get some rest. Are you on East Coast time as well? So you have enough sense to go to bed? Probably. And I'll be catching your stream again too. Yeah. So, for you. A few more of these. I didn't get to the ones that I have marked with my little post-its. Some of my favorites. Janis Joplin. I read a story about some old opera singer once, and when a guy asked her to marry him, she took him backstage after she had sung A Real Triumph with all the people calling for her and asked, "Do you think you could give me like that?" That story hit me right, man. I know no guy who ever made me feel as good as an audience. Well. Well. Okay, Janis. Okay. I mean, it's a different feel. But I understand. Yeah. Most men worry about being replaced by other things, but for Janis, it's music. That's pretty cold, though. That is pretty cold, though. Pull somebody aside with audience going crazy, say, "Could you do that for me?" No, I don't think so. Be gone. No. But on the other hand, this is Paganini. I am not handsome, but when women hear me play, they come crawling to my feet. And you know that's true. That's true for the big stars, and that's true for the guy with the guitar in the back of a bar, So. Okay, this is for you guitar players out there. Lita Ford says, playing guitar is a sexual thing. It comes from the crotch. It comes from the heart. It comes from the head. You don't need to have muscles to play it. You can just unpack that one yourself. Now here's one. This one does hit hard, and part of the reason why this everyday streaming, although physically it's not good because I'm not sleeping, however, and for some of the other stuff I have to do, I've not done, so that's not good. However, music washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. Auerbach. Let's read that one again, shall we? Music washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. You're saying you don't hear anyone write what she's in this book. What's the copyright on this? Copyright 1999. But that's the one I had marked. No, that's not a good one. Let's see. Ray Charles. I'd like to think that when I sing a song, I can let you know all about the heartbreak, struggle, lies, and kicks in the ass I've gotten over the years for being black and everything else, without actually saying a word about it. You know what? He had achieved that. Ray Charles didn't have to say anything, but when he played, you could feel it. Chrissy Hine, don't think that sticking your boobs out or trying to look fuckable will help. Remember, you're in a rock and roll band. It's not fuck me, it's fuck you. That's her advice to female rockers. That needs to be put over the door of all the record companies these days. Janis Joplin. On stage, I make love to 25,000 different people, then go home alone. That's something. Why she gotta go home alone? On stage, I make love to 25,000 different people, then go home alone. She died at 27. She was in that 27 club. All right, let's go to the other section. Oh, Paul McCartney. There are two things John and I always do when we're going to sit down and write a song. First of all, we sit down. Then we think about writing a song. All right, that just breaks it down, right? Sit down and write a song. You know, the documentary on Netflix about We Are the World, I think it's called The Greatest Night in Pop. One part of it it's really good. I highly recommend. But if one part of it is they Lionel Richie talks about how he and Michael Jackson sat down to write the song. They wrote the song like in a day, the day before or something. And that part was really interesting to me because like he started out with a feel and a beat, and then went from there. It was cool to watch his songwriting technique, but to start with the feel. I don't always start with the feel. Sometimes.
Who says you need an office space to start a business? Anytime Mailbox has a great virtual mailbox service that comes with a legit street address that you can use.
All right, let's get somebody interesting. Paul Simon. Oh, I remember this quote. I thought it was Loretta Lynn, but it's Paul Simon. Okay. Oh, Loretta Lynn's below. Okay, Paul Simon. I believe it's no good to talk about your songs. It's wrong. You should leave your songs alone and let them say what they say. Let people think what they want from them. No, I'm sorry, misread that. Let people take what they want from them. Yeah, that's I mean, you can say what a song is about or whatever, then people can take what they want from them. They can do what they want with them. They can whatever. And that was my issue sometimes with music videos, because music videos that create this story that I don't want to see, because in my mind there was a different story going on, because I'm always making them stories. So in my mind there was a different story, or if I was visualizing whatever the song was about, it was different. And it used to really bother me when the story was different from what the song was saying. So a good example of that was Toni Braxton's Unbreak My Heart. Now that song is about heartbreak, and it's about someone leaving someone and saying, and then that person begging, don't, please unbreak my heart and come back to me. Right? The music video, so she's singing, the woman's singing to the man, come back to me, please unbreak my heart. And she's begging, and it's sad. in the music video, the man gets killed, and that's why he leaves her. That's not how I would see that. So I don't know why they did that. I don't think anybody would see it like that, and they didn't need to do that. You know. So yeah, that's my issue sometimes with music videos, because they usurp what's going on in my head. Sometimes they're spot on, or sometimes they're entertaining, and that's good. But sometimes not. Concert ones are usually good, or the ones where there's not a whole lot going on, and then you can the artist can really emote. Good examples of that are "Stay," the Sugarland song written by Jennifer Nettles, and that's a very stripped down song anyway. It's just guitar and a little organ, I think, no drums. And in that video, if I recall, she's just sitting there singing, and this is the side piece anthem song, but she's sad, right? She's the other woman, and she's sad and questioning what she's doing. And she just sings it to the camera. I haven't seen it in years, but she sings it to the camera. She has on like no makeup, very little makeup, sings to the camera, and is crying. And the duo, the guitar guy, I never remember his name. He's playing guitar in the same room, but that's it. And, camera's going around, the room is dark. And she gets across the emotions of that song so well. It's beautiful. And another one is One More Try, the George Michael song. Both of these songs are on my list. One More Try is a slow George Michael song. It's like the teacher song, because he only says one more try, the very last line of the song, so you don't think of it as the name. It's called One More Try. He wrote it in 8 hours, recorded it in 8 hours. I mean, it was like this masterpiece that was done in 8 hours. And the music video is him singing in it looks like a castle or some old-fashioned room. And I think it's in black and white. And it's just him. And you could feel every note, So, and that's not to say that the big ones don't do it. Like, Michael Jackson does get that feel across. And he tells a whole story. But when the story is wrong, it bothers me. Yeah, the motorcycle wreck. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I wonder, it would be the fly on the wall, like who made that decision? I mean, Toni Braxton is pretty, she sings from the heart. She sings from the soul. It just feels like it's like some non-musician, and maybe not even non-director, say, you know what? Why don't we make it like this? It's like, how about we not? Sometimes you don't need to do something different. Sometimes you just do what you do, right? Oh, stage collapse. Oh, she was opening for Sugar. Oh, really? Oh no. I don't remember that. That somebody else appreciates George Michael. George Michael was really brilliant. Really. I always read his lyrics when I sing the songs because they're so poignant. And musically, he was very particular. The sax solos in the Careless Whisper, do 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 do. Those sax. He auditioned. I think it was 8 or 9 sax players before he chose the correct, the one he wanted. And he had a certain sound in his head. Like, I don't think that it's like a particularly like difficult lick to do. I don't play sax, but to get the sound he wanted on it, I'm sure that he auditioned them at different times, but in my mind, I see a line of sax players outside of a room waiting their turn, you know, and each one walking out shaking his head because George Michael said, absolutely not. So I don't think there's a George Michael one in here. You know, we can imagine like a Bork, but you know, I don't remember those. The Bjork ones. I don't remember. But that was all coming from Paul Simon saying you don't have to talk about a song. And that people can have their own interpretations. Like I said the other day, Let It Be talks about Mother Mary coming to him, and many people think he's talking about Mother Mary, you're talking about the Virgin Mary. But it was really inspired by Paul McCartney's mother, who died when he was a teenager. But he has said, doesn't matter to me if people think it's the Virgin Mary. Whatever they get from it, it's fine. You know? Yeah. Same with Come Together. Come Together, there's a line in there. You can't understand some of the lyrics in there anyway. Something armchair. Something. Anyway, it's not armchair. It's something else, but because it sounded like armchair, and because the lyrics of that song are a bit nonsensical anyway, Lennon said, fine, go with the armchair. You know, he doesn't care. He didn't consider that to be wrong. Oh, about the stage collapse. People think people tried to cast it like it was Sugar Land's fault that the show had not been canceled. Oh, they're trying to say that they knew that there was something wrong with the stage. I mean, I don't know them personally, but I would think that they wouldn't put people's lives in danger. Maybe somebody knew. I don't know. Or maybe nobody knew. Maybe sometimes it's an accident. Sometimes it's not. But sometimes the people who are blameworthy are not the named people. I mean, they probably didn't have much to do with setting up the venue or doing the contracts for the venue or making sure everything was up to code. No, they're sitting in the back playing their guitar, singing and writing great songs. So Glenn Gould, he is known for playing the Prelude and Fugues of Bach, all of them. I love recording because if something lovely does happen, there is a sense of permanence. And if it doesn't happen, one has a second chance to achieve an ideal. That's so very true. And there's so many songs that were, kind of mistakes, or they were meant to be demos and they ended up being used. Unchained Melody, that last run, the Money Notes, they were just messing around. They didn't know that was going to be the actual thing. And he was going to redo it. And they're like, no, I don't think it's going to get any better than that. Schumann. People compose for many reasons: to become immortal, because the pianoforte happens to be open; to become a millionaire, because of the praise of friends, because they have looked into a pair of beautiful eyes, or for no reason whatsoever. I like that one. It's so true. Confucius, music produces a kind of pleasure that human nature cannot do without. That needs to be stamped on everything. Everything. the other sections. This is music and society. Rhythm, Edith Sitwell. Rhythm is one of the principal translators between dream and reality. Rhythm might be described to the world of sound, what light is to the world of sight. It shapes and gives new meaning. Yeah. I sometimes say to my kid students, that music without rhythm is like eating without swallowing. To adults, I say it's the physical act of love without, without the boom boom. Okay. Hey, Professor Data. That's why I vibe to chase the dreams. Wait, I missed something jiggly dab. I don't think they could know something was wrong with the stage, but I think the lawyers trying to cast it if Sugarland made the final call rather than the people in charge of the fair. Yeah, that would be a reach. I just, they're not the ones out there. They're not the ones that have to review those contracts. Or the venue, really. If they did, they review it more for the space on the stage. Sound check. They wouldn't check to see, is anybody going to die here? No, they don't do that. That's somebody else. And if somebody else knew, they wouldn't have told them. If somebody else knew, or somebody else who was in charge of checking that, probably either way wouldn't tell the main act. The main act assumes everything's good. That's what they do. That things are taken care of. Yeah, I don't know. But, you search for the liability. Go for the deep pockets. So that's how it works. T-Bone Burnett. There's this place where a river runs into an ocean, and the fresh water and the salt water all get mixed in together. And that's what America is all about. And that's what American music is all about. And that's what rock and roll is about. It actually wasn't invented by anybody. It's not just black and white either. It's Mexican and Appalachian and Gaelic and everything that's comes floating down the river. That's a nice thought. Oh. Anonymous. I'm sure you guys probably heard this one. This is a quote by Anonymous. Is that the same Anonymous that gives gift subs and everything? Wonder. I love the blues. They hurt so nice. The rhythm is gonna get ya. Yeah. Blame it on the boogie. That's what I say. Blame it on the boogie. Blues is a digging, picking, pricking at the very depth of your mental environment and the feelings of your heart. Blues is more than just blues. Thomas A. Dorsey. What we call low down in blues doesn't mean that it's dirty or bad or something like that. It gets down into the individual to set him on fire, dig him up or dig her up way down there till they come out with an expression verbally. If they're in the church, they say amen. If they're in the blues, they say, sing it now. It's Dorsey again. Muddy Waters, this is a famous one. Muddy Waters says, the blues had a baby and they called it rock and roll. Louis Armstrong. And it actually was Lewis. He pronounced it Lewis. But when he became famous, I guess everyone thought he more like a Louis. But it was actually Lewis. And he says Lewis in, my mind is so full of useless facts. And Hello Dolly. When he sings Hello Dolly, he says, "This is Lewis Dolly." But everybody else says Louis, because I guess that made him sound more blues or more jazz to say Louis instead of Lewis. That happened to a guy I knew who was, his last name was Ehrman. Like rolling the R, which I can't do. Ehrman. And then he said to me, he said, "Yeah, until I got into opera, my last name was Ehrman." But Ehrman wasn't cutting it in opera. It had to sound more opera-like. So start to roll the R. But his name was Ehrman. And then it was, I can't do the R. Ehrman. And he rolled with it. What are you going to do, right? Pete Townsend, rock won't eliminate your problems, but it will let you sort of dance all over them. You guys want to hear what Ayatollah Khomeini says? Music is no different than opium. Music affects the human mind in a way that makes people think of nothing but music and sensual matters. Music is a treason to the country, a treason to our youth, and we should cut out all this music and replace it with something instructive. Well, if that's not something that says the power of music, I don't know what is. Huh, music is a treason. Was he serious? I guess. Well, that's like with so there was church music and then there was blues, and that was, that was the devil's music, right? Ain't that something? The phenomenon of music is given to us with the sole purpose of establishing an order in things, particularly the coordination between man and time. Stravinsky. Right, if that dude, absolutely. Music put the fear in him, though. Gosh. That would be his kryptonite. This is Mickey Hart. No human culture has ever existed without music. Music is a necessity. It is not just for survival or for entertainment. Music makes us human. No lies detected. Woodrow Wilson, the man who disparages music as a luxury and non-essential, is doing the nation an injury. Music now, more than ever before, is a national need. That should be embroidered on everything. Okay, I'll do a couple more. Maybe I should collect some of our quotes. Publish it. I would do that. Calling all quotes. Billy Joel. For me, music is this magic acoustic element that makes perfectly rational people who have come to realize the unalterable fact that they are truly alone in the world somehow feel, for fleeting moments, that maybe they're not alone after all. I forgot about that one. Oh, I felt that. I felt that one hard. Oh my gosh. People have come to realize the unalterable fact that they are truly alone in the world. Somehow feel for fleeting moments that maybe they're not alone after all. Wow. What do y'all think of that? Yeah, I know. Wow. Why don't I have a sticky on that one? Probably at that time it didn't hit the same as it does now. All right. Are we into the spiritual? Leonard Bernstein. Music can name the unnameable and communicate the unknowable. John Lennon. When the real music comes to me, the music of the spheres, the music that surpasseth understanding, that has nothing to do with me, because I'm just the channel. The only joy for me is for it to be given to me and to transcribe it like a medium. Those moments are what I live for. I'm more of a tortured writer myself. More Beethoven than Mozart. You know how they say Mozart would just write it down complete. No cross outs, no nothing. It was complete in his head, and he would just write it down. But Beethoven scratched stuff out, start over, change things. Took forever to finish something. Sometimes he was a lot different. He was real moody about it too. Beethoven's friends used to have to come in and tell him to change his clothes and empty his chamber pot because he was just couldn't be bothered. Music creates the inner vibe that break hard hearts. Oh, I like that one. Can I put that one in the book? I have to remember that. Let's see. Albert Einstein. This is what I have to say about Bach's life work. Listen, play, love, revere, and keep your mouth shut. Oh, homeboy, Daryl Hall. Daryl Hall says, soul is not about black or white music. Soul is a physical manifestation of higher consciousness. It's going from the right lobe straight out to the world, using the physical body as a springboard for insight. Soul is a howling at the moon and having the moon respond. Oh, I like that last part. Soul is a howling at the moon and having the moon respond. Daryl Hall. Wow. Okay, Daryl. He is just like the master of vocal improvs. Jimi Hendrix. He played himself a little guitar back in the day. You can't mess with people's heads, that's for sure. But that's what music's all about, messing with people's heads. John Updike, the author. The little creatures in the UFOs must have figured out sex by now, and our cars. But the dreaming and the praying and the singing, how to explain music to them? You think the aliens have music? Bob Marley. One good thing about music, when it hits, you feel no pain. Beethoven. Music is the mediator between intellectual and sensuous life, the one spiritual entrance into the higher world. Okay, Beethoven. Ludwig. All right. I have no more pasties at the end. And the last part's all more spiritual. Ziggy Marley, let me tell you, music is a creation of the Almighty, because music was before everything else, before there was a wind or the sound of a star moving through space. Is that a sound? What? Sidebar. Anyway, that is all natural music. It's the vibes of the music itself speaking, different from the artist that's singing. Music have plenty power. Well, he might have been high when he... All right. Phil Lesh. Every place we play is church. I like that one. I guess I read I like the beginning parts more. Okay, and let's see how Mickey Hart ends it. This is Mickey's epilogue. The ancient world knew well the many powers of music and used it in healing and ritual on a daily basis. In modern Western civilization, music has become a commodity, a product for mass consumption. Today, we acknowledge the need to bring the cycle around once again and to rediscover the ancient wisdom of music as a healing force. In the modern world, however, it is not the priests or sages who will bring about this reconnection, but rather individuals on an unorchestrated, unchoreographed quest for self-knowledge, with science validating from the ancient techniques and leading us to the next frontier. Experiments involving measurements of brain waves and the somatic response to music are in their infancy, but they will lead us to a better understanding of the healing capacity of music. We don't fully comprehend the power of music, and probably never will, but this we know. Music will have a crucial role in creating well-being by transcending politics, race, geography, and gender, letting ourselves go, realizing daily pressures, and just plain having fun is not easy. With the world spinning faster and faster, play is ever more essential to maintaining balance and harmony. To find ourselves, we need tools for self-exploration, and music is one of the most important. It enhances our lives and gives them meaning. It allows us to rediscover our lighter, softer side in an often hostile world. It gives us happiness and compassion, and it generates love. This is the bottom line of the musical experience. Love. Love of self, family, neighbors, and friends. Music is a uniting force, capable of joining enemies in song and dance, enhancing the health of body and soul, and revealing that we are not so different after all. All we need is a groove to move our feet and songs to raise our spirits. That's beautiful, right? I didn't even know about Spotify back then, right? I'm a first name basis. Oh yeah, I'm a first name basis with these people. They don't know it. They didn't know it. Yeah. Always first name basis. I don't know what they call me because, you know. No, I didn't do the relevant. Not everybody can appreciate poetry or classical music, and they don't like words that say one thing and mean another thing. Country music is real. Country music tells the story the way things are. People fall in love, and then one of them starts cheating around, or both of them sometimes, and usually there's somebody who gets hurt. Our country songs are nothing but the truth. That's why they're so popular. Loretta Lynn. Hell of a songwriter. All right, people. I think that's it for the reading portion. The reading stream tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Great day and a better tomorrow. my dad. Stream.